Happy Friday evening, everybody. I know I don't come live on my page nearly as much as I should because I'm always going live in my free safe space here on Facebook, The Whimsical Rebel, which is a place for everything people-pleasing, enabler, codependent, all the things, empowerment. But I wanted to make sure that tonight's hashtag complimentary whimsdom session came to you on my page because tonight's topic is so important to me that it needed to be out there more than just in my page, than just in my group. So if you are watching this live, comment below. Let me know that you can hear me okay. Let me know where you're watching from. Let me know if you're a member of the group. And I guess I should start by introducing myself. Even though you were on my page, so you should kind of know me. That's okay. Sometimes Facebook hides us from each other. My name is Audrey Kent, and I am your guide through people-pleasing addiction recovery. Hey, Carla. And I help women every single day break the chains of people-pleasing addiction and find their happiest selves, find their freedom, find their voice, find their true identity. And I do this by offering my complimentary whimsdom sessions every Monday and Friday in my Whimsical Rebel group. I do that complimentary to help kickstart people's journey, but I also do this and help them break free by means of my one-on-one program and my one-on-one client services and people-pleasing addiction recovery. Because no matter how many times I go live, no matter how many motivational memes I share with you guys, no matter how much it can make you feel really good in the moment and how empowered you can feel in the moment, I can't actually help you guys unless you reach out, unless you ask. You know, I can't tell you everything you need to know unless you ask. But I can tell you that if you are suffering people-pleasing addiction, then working with me can absolutely change your life. So this is the first time that I'm doing this, that I'm coming live on my page with something that I would normally do in my group. And it's because, as you can see by the title above, that it's story time. This is a recovering rebel's story. And what I have started to do with my incredible clients is not just get like testimonies and little blurbs here and there that I could put up, on the website or share with you guys in a post, but I wanted to really sit down with them and create a beautiful story. Something that really encapsulates what they've been through, what they were going through before, their journey with me, and what their recovery has done for them. So tonight is going to be the first share, and it's really, really, you'll see, it really means a lot to me, and I will tell you guys why at the end. But this is a particular rebel's journey, one of my favorite clients, and I'm going to share with you this story. So sit tight, I'm going to read you a rebel's recovery story. So, turmoil all around. She was hit hard with the external manifestation of following suit, not speaking up, and being a yes man, coddling, taking responsibility for others, and playing the coach and mediator in all of her interactions, and shouldering the guilt and shame that also comes with being a mother. Any mothers out there, raise your hand. There is this level of guilt and shame and worry and self-doubt in being what feels like just misunderstood as a mother, right? That manifestation was showing in her health. And as a woman in a health-based career, she was losing joy and confidence in the very thing that was supposed to be moving her forward in life. She wasn't sure what was wrong. We can all say a hallelujah on this. She was not sure what was wrong. All she knew was that shit was not adding up. All she knew was that all the love, the power, the devotion, the energy that she was pouring out into the world was not creating and was not producing the life that she was supposed to be living. Her relationship with her fiancé was neutral at the time. Things seemed to be copacetic and jiving well, and really the only area of her life that was not just a catalyst for wanting to begin her recovery journey through her people-pleasing addiction. But in a house fire, we all know this, every room will eventually catch fire if the source of the fire is not found and put out. So when I talk to you guys about people-pleasing addiction really affecting every area of your life, during her recovery these last 11 months, she and her fiancé had their first big blowout, their first earth-shattering turmoil blowout. But they overcame, and even stronger than before. During this recovery, her mother's illness advanced, but through the chemo, through the hospice, through the empathy, she found her strength and balance day in and day out, and has worked through the sibling guilt, has worked through the heaviness that people-pleasing addiction brings when you are fully immersed in grief and empathy. When you are fully immersed in that moment of, I can't put myself first because someone's life is hanging in the balance. Someone's life is more important in this moment. That can be the curse of empathy. She said, and I quote, "Through my recovery, I was finally able to extend myself grace. And finally, because I was straight up dying on all levels." So, right when I messaged her about hopping on a call to catch up with how her recovery has been and really craft this beautiful recovery story that she could hold tight and that I could share with the world, she said that she was just sitting down to write a chapter in her book. And it was going to be called, "You Want to Confront People Pleasing? Try Planning a Southern Wedding in 2 days." And side note, hello Passion Poles, this woman didn't even know that a book was even inside of her before she started this journey. So this is how much people-pleasing addiction recovery has really changed her life. It's that it's even featured as a methodology in her own book. But for all the reasons that chapter sounds funny and witty and full of spunk, it's actually a very real, very heavy chronicling of one of the hardest things that she would ever have to do. And that's to finalize and bring into existence something so important and powerful to her: to be married in her mother's graces before she passed away. So that being the title of the book. If you want to confront your people pleasing, try planning a Southern wedding in 2 days. So we all know the indiscriminate nature of illness, right? That it doesn't have a schedule, don't give a fuck what you're doing. But some, like this woman, like this particular client of mine, will feel the weight of that truth heavier than we could imagine. With her mother's prognosis suddenly being so shortened. She then shared with me how proud she was to be navigating this terrain. Because her chapter title says it all, right? She's absolutely right that this type of situation pulls at every single thread of people-pleasing addiction. Grieving, navigating the gifts of empathy while shunning the weight of its curse, family, fear of judgment. I bet she never thought that someone could accuse her of stealing her mother's thunder. But it actually happened because people deal with their own fear and their own incapacity for handling their own emotions in their own way. And a lot of times they'll deal with that grief very differently and they'll deflect and misdirect. But she was having to deal with that. And if that's not a tug on a people pleaser string. Relationship. This is a wedding after all. This is a fear, pulls at a fear of rejection and all those icky control goblins that can come to the surface when we fear that we're pushing something on someone, you know, suddenly trying to get this wedding together when they thought they had all this time. But trying to do this, like, of course that's going to bring about so many feelings of, oh, what if I'm pushing him into this because of what's important to me? That tugs on a lot of strings, and of course default settings. So keeping her head above the, I just gotta survive this. This too shall pass. Keeping her head above those waters and not just treading them, and navigating emotional comfort binging tactics. She actually told me that she wasn't turning to alcohol, she wasn't overeating, she wasn't undereating. It's a big one, right? She wasn't drama seeking. So even when people were trying to unload their problems on her, she wasn't binging on that, because that's That's almost like binge eating for a people pleaser, to binge on other people's problems so that you can avoid your own, because you're just treading that I need to survive water. So before her journey into recovery, all of the above concerns would have been valid before she started this journey, and a complete reason for abandonment of what she was internally being pulled to do. What she was being pulled, what her heart was telling her was important to her. All of those reasons above, all of those threads being tugged in her people-pleasing addiction would have been reason for her to be like, no, I'm not the important thing in this, and I need to abandon this idea. She is embracing her grief and all its beauty, pain, and lessons it has to teach her. She weeps at the sight of her daughter, holding her cosmic knowledge and her own mother in her heart. She works every day to release the need to control others' opinions of her, others' actions, others' processes, and she finds true home centered in the only thing she can control: her energy, her vibration, and her love. She pours love into her future husband and releases her responsibility over him, allowing him to speak for himself, take care of his own process and responses. And she celebrates all of her wins. So every time she stops eating when she's full, doesn't reach for that extra glass of wine to ease the pain, works out even when cardio is so hard when you're crying, and keeps her heart rooted in the here and the now, recognizing when drama is trying to pluck her away for some misguided toxic relief from what lies ahead. Wrapping up our call, she said, I just tell myself you're going to get through this. And I had to clarify with her what she meant by that. I had to ask her to define that, because that could have meant so many things. That could have meant I'm just going to be numb through this. And I asked her to clarify, and we agreed that she absolutely is going to get through it, not because she's going to put on blinders and numb herself, but because she trusts her intuition like never before. She has the power to confront every nerve people-pleasing addiction has, and at the core of their connection, where it's rooted in empathy. And she's doing it. She's living as her authentic, passionate, respected, and supported self. Thank you. Isn't it beautiful? So this call where I got on the phone with this client and we got caught up and we talked about her recovery and where she was before and where she's at now and how things are looking moving forward. And we crafted this beautiful story that she could tell and that I could share with the world. And it was so important for me to come live on my page tonight rather than just in the group, because I also want us to take a moment and honor her mother, who passed away early in the hours of this morning. And the strength and the unleashed power that this client now has to get through this, and not just blinders on, numbingly get through this, that's something that I had to share with all of you. Because this is real. People-pleasing addiction is real. It's not a personality type. It's not some cute Facebook quiz. It's something real that can completely derail your actual true ability to see beauty and grow from all of the pain that the world has. It can absolutely destroy so many areas of your life if you let it. Because things like this, people pleasing is rooted in empathy, and when grief is involved, that's when it's the hardest to keep yourself first and to keep your love and your life and the passion that you could pour out in the world. It's so hard not to dampen it when you're grieving, because in that moment, somebody else is more important. So I want to thank this client for giving me the time and giving me her energy and giving me her permission to share this story. And for everything she's going through, our heart is with you. You are so loved and so supported. And I am just so honored to have been a part of your recovery and see the grace that you're moving through life with now, and the authenticity and the passion. I love you guys so much. My name is Audrey Kent, as you can see above. If you feel like you need a safe place because this rings a little truer to home than you would have liked, I do have a free group for you guys, and I do go live every Monday and Friday with complimentary #Whimsdom. And if you are feeling hit by people-pleasing addiction, please don't ever feel embarrassed about reaching out. The worst that can happen is just an awesome conversation, okay? I love you guys so much. Go have an amazing rest of your Friday. I love you, Mom.